Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the debut EP from the band Lust Witch, entitled We All Die Alone, out now through the band themselves. And if you're not familiar with Lust Witch, they are a doom slash sludge metal act out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Been around since just this year. In fact, the very beginning of the year 2022, featuring Ian Gernhardt. Or Gernhardt, sorry if I mispronounced your name, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. Handling guitars and vocals, Mason Plummer on the drums, and Taylor Wang on bass and vocals. As I said, this is their debut EP. It is 4 tracks and just a couple of ticks under 29 minutes in length. And a really interesting note about this release is that it was actually recorded in one live take at the 1857 studios in Indianapolis. There was no tracking, no dubbing, just plug in and play. They went through the entire EP in one go. Of course, being on the CD, there are the CD breaks and everything, but other than that, it's just all one live continuous take. So that's a very interesting aspect of this EP. And honestly, I had not heard this band until receiving this CD, as they had no Bandcamp set up at that particular time. But I had been seeing a lot of buzz around Facebook and Instagram about them and their sound, basically based off of live shows that people were seeing. And a lot of people that I trust their opinions of music said they were really killer. So of course, I was anxious to hear this, and after hearing this EP, I should say, and spending time with it, I can honestly say that all the praise and buzz was well deserved. The CD actually starts with this nice building intro of what kind of sounds like these kind of ritualistic chants, almost like you would hear in like maybe a Native American like tribal dance or something like that, kind of like that same kind of vibe. And then has this kind of like boom boom beat every now and then at about the 58-second mark, this sort of tribal-esque drum beat starts with some cymbal crashes, and then the guitars finally kick in at the 112 mark, and we're off to the races. Honestly, Ian's guitar tone is nice and heavy, mixing the slow to mid-pace riffs, giving, of course, that nice doomy vibe to everything. And while you have those slow and heavy, dun 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 style riffs throughout this EP, there's also a lot of death metal elements present here as well, I feel. Good example, track number 2, All, at the 234 mark. That riff right there, in my opinion, is just pure death metal. And like I said, you hear those kind of riffs and sounds all throughout this EP. The drum production, I think, is really solid on here with a good snap to the snare. I love the kick drum sound, and I think Mason just really hits everything with authority when he hits the snare. Really interesting patterns throughout this EP, and at times he also kind of does these almost like beats that kind of give off a really ritualistic vibe to them, I found. Get my page turned here. All right, then you get to Taylor and his bass. He's got a nice, thick bass tone on here with just a very slight bit of fuzz to it. Very easily heard throughout here. Not overpowering, but a good complement to the guitars. Really helping it to build that wall of heaviness, because, I mean, this is doom metal after all. Now, track number 1, We, at the 501 mark, he actually gets a moment to shine. Just by himself playing, you really get a good idea of the tone that he got on here. And then when you get into track number 4, Alone, I just love that bass intro before the rest of the instruments kick in about 14 seconds later, with this really heavy guitar riff. I mean, that bass intro was really got me. As soon as it started out, I was like, oh yeah, I dig that. Now, vocally on here, you get 2 very different styles. Ian kind of goes for a more death growl slash roar, while Taylor kind of does these shouts that honestly sound like the sound a madman would make. You would hear, coming from maybe an insane asylum. Just that's what I was thinking of every time he came in. And I love the way that they layer their vocals at times, because sometimes they just like do this dual vocal at the same time, and I always thought that sounded really badass. Overall, I think this is just a solid as fuck debut offering from this relatively young band. As I said, they didn't form until January, so I mean, yeah, been together I think late January, something like that. And this EP, it's heavy, It's doomy, it's gloomy, it's just basically everything you would want from a doom metal released. And these songs are pretty long songs. They're not short. I mean, you get 28 minutes over, or almost 29 minutes over 4 tracks. There's 7-minute long songs, there's 6-minute long songs. But everything is just so well written and executed that you really don't even notice. You get so caught up in just the heaviness of it all and the catchiness of it that you're just kind of, you're too busy just kind of, slowly kind of headbanging along, if you will, and you just don't notice how long these songs are. And like I said, it's just really well written, really well executed, in my opinion. Go check these guys out. I will leave a link down below so you can check this out for yourself. I give this EP a solid 9 out of 10. Like I said, go check out Lustwitch and their We All Die Alone EP if you love doom and sludge metal. And I've been hearing rumblings that there's a possibility they're actually working on a brand new EP, which that would be really cool if that is the case, and they come out with it either maybe by the end of this year or even next year. That'd be a great way to start the year with some new Lustwitch material. So yeah, go check these guys out. 9 out of 10 from me. That is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal and fucking Lustwitch.